Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Daniela and today we'll continue with Mindhunter, this time episode 8 of the second season. In the last episode, the things in Atlanta are not going very well. While they were questioning the suspect, another kidnapping happened. So they had to let him go, and Holden wasn't so happy about it. Also, one of the missing boys showed up. I mean, his body did. Fortunately, he was killed. Also, Holden tried to kind of set a trap for the killer while they were doing this ceremony kind of protest, going through the places the kids went missing or where they lived. Holden wanted to make kind of sites here and there to get the attention of the serial killer. That didn't went that well either, so I don't know. Bill and Nancy, their relationship, I feel that hit kind of rock bottom, with Brian acting weirder, and, you know, there were no changes in his behavior, at least in good. I don't know how much they can handle anymore. There's also one episode left, so that's great. I mean, I know what happened with the BTK killer, but I honestly don't know anything about the Atlanta case. So I'm pretty sure neither of them is gonna have an ending, and I'm gonna have to find out on my own who was the killer, the Atlanta killer. As usual, the link to my Instagram is in the description. The super thanks are active, but again, I repeat myself, there is no obligation to have to do it. It's just, if you want it, and if you want to support me in a more personal way, there's that. Anyway, as usual, I got something to drink. The episode is ready to start, so without further ado, let's do this.
These guys seem awfully quiet to be the operational arm of the clan.
Well, Charles here is mainly a foot soldier, but his older brother, Don, is the officer in the local. Mostly they're into car theft, larceny, pot.
So you think this is a waste of time?
Every second I spend staring at a Sanders is a waste of time. I may be too ignorant to organize this crime wave like some folks want to believe, but there's a strong possibility they're involved in some of them.
With a black mayor, you'd think.
Maynard knows this city's powder keg. Underneath all that kumbaya, he's been looking hard at the clan, but he's smart enough to keep that under wraps until we bring back something undeniable.
What are you up to?
That's the overachiever, Donnie.
Might go out and give me another kid. See they found that Junior kid. Yeah, fucked up my truck with that go-kart. I told him I was gonna fucking kill his ass. Wanna go get another? Just doing the Lord's work.
That enough for a warrant?
Even in Georgia.
The benefit concert. Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra.
It'll be a nightmare for us. Half Atlanta will be there.
Our guy will be too.
How do you figure that?
He's going to volunteer. We put out a call for additional security. In his mind, he'll be working directly with the investigation. He won't be able to resist. We work the profile on the applicants.
So we'll end up with a sizable group of black males between the ages of 20 and 30. What if one of the Sanders brothers applied for your security job? Would we just ignore that?
You're going to question your white supremacist, so there's no need to screen for it.
African American.
Drives a police-type vehicle, lives with parents or a close relative, owns a dog.
I have communities organizing vigilante patrols because of the Klan.
It's not the Klan.
Do you know what will happen if word gets out that we're ignoring other leads to focus on a black suspect?
The victimology is clear.
Aside from perception issues, this brings about questions of legality.
We do this or we wait for more bodies.
I want your assurance that your criteria is not spoken about outside of this room. I don't want to hear from any quarter that we're looking for a black suspect.
Yes, sir.
Sell our house.
I was thinking about something closer to Alexandria, a little more cultured. The schools will be better. Opportunity to meet new people. It could be an adventure. Could do a short scroll, be out in 6 weeks.
Did something happen?
I am thinking of Brian.
Is this really the right time for him?
Could there be a better time?
Let's talk about it when I finish in Atlanta.
And when will that be?
I just don't think we should move him out of his routine if that's what's best for him.
What about what's best for us?
Can I a permanent?
It's not really a great time right now.
Is there someone here?
No. Actually, Tom, I might introduce Nick to a friend this weekend.
Okay, we already talked about that.
I know. I just said.
He needs structure. Nothing about the divorce was easy for him.
Of course. Sure. You're absolutely right.
Is it someone important?
No, it's not.
I imagine you've been following what's been going on in Atlanta?
Ranger shit. Ought to fire Bobby Cox.
Agent Tench is referring to the 19 murdered children.
Well, now, that there's just frustrating. All them searches, tying up traffic.
Ever met a boy named Luby Jeter?
No.
You know, might go out and give me another kid. See they found that Jeter kid? Yeah, fucked up my truck with that go-kart.
Remember him now? Fucked up a brand new paint job.
We have a witness. Works parking lot where Luby disappeared. Said you were real fired up about it.
I do love my truck.
And you hate blacks.
That's not what I call them. I'm allowed to hate whoever I want. It's in the Constitution.
We found Luby Jeter strangled to death shortly after that incident.
Okay.
Okay.
Y'all ought to be thanking me. At least I'm trying to protect our way of life through lawful gathering and free speech.
Forensics got nothing at the house or from the truck. We're stuck.
Police have found fiber evidence on the body.
Shit.
That evidence
Fibers.
Labs found carpet fibers on 6 so far.
But we've never released that information. Now he knows we can retrieve evidence from the bodies. We'll change his MO.
Yeah. How is the question?
He was in the bath today, and for a minute it was just like it used to be. I forgot what he'd done, and for a minute it was just me and my beautiful boy. I got him out, started brushing his hair, and I saw us. In the mirror, the two of us. And I was so relieved.
Relieved.
Relieved that he wasn't really mine. His body didn't come from my body. None of it was my fault.
My dad used to take me for ice cream right after we'd go fishing. I ever tell you that? How my dad
Crazy
took me
how
fishing?
you could smoke anywhere.
I remember the first fish I caught. Must have been about your age. I'd never caught anything before.
Did the fish die?
Eventually. You and I have never talked about what happened. So I can only guess how confusing and strange this all must be for you. But I don't know, because you won't talk to me. I need to know that you're okay. Or whatever it is. I just need to know. Because this scares the shit out of me, Brian. And I don't want to be afraid.
Not confirmed, but they think it's Curtis Walker. Missing about 3 weeks.
Where have you been?
Just landed.
21 victims, no suspects. And the guy I'm supposed to lean on, if he's even around, has to be brought up to speed?
Holden, this is not the time or place.
You're only half here when you are here, and you're only here half the time.
I'm asking you nicely.
I'm sorry that you're having family issues, but you're either in or you're out.
I'm doing the absolute best I can.
Well, it's not enough.
You may lean on me, but I don't work for you. And the family issue I'm dealing with happens to be that my 7-year-old son watched 3 other children murder a toddler. So when I'm not in Atlanta, I'm taking him to a child psychiatrist, dealing with the Commonwealth attorney, enduring visits from social services, and trying to keep a marriage to the woman I love from crashing and burning.
Bill, I'm sorry.
I don't need your sympathy. And you're right. I should be out. taking care of my issues. But Ted Gunn sent me down here to make sure you don't do anything stupid to jeopardize our debut on the big stage. So you want to help me? Show some fucking professionalism.
Set up scouts under the bridges on either side. Constant surveillance from sundown to sunrise.
2 cars per bridge, 2 officers per car. At least 1 agent at each location.
And are we stopping every car?
We're looking for a very specific person.
And regardless of race or age, he would be stopping. We may even get lucky and catch him in the act.
City's looking at overages I can't hide, and they can't cover. Even working recruits at intern wages, I have to shut it down. This is our last week.
You can't do that.
We're out of money.
I don't know what's going on. I just want to talk. I'm downstairs, if you're there. I just need to know what's happening. Please call me. God, I hope this is you.
I'm coming down.
What?
Really, she took it a bit too personally. I'm sure she didn't want to offend Wendy in any way. She was put in a tough situation.
I didn't know your voice went that high. With your husband.
Ex-husband. And I told you that relationship was complicated. Why are you judging me?
I find it a little unnerving that someone who places honesty over everything else can lie quite so
Lie?
deftly. Looking for another job somewhere in Edgewood.
I manipulate my ex so that I can have some sort of relationship with my son.
An inauthentic relationship.
That is not your place to say.
You know, if you had even a modicum of the honesty that you're endlessly hawking. To think that you actually made me feel bad about myself.
And if I have to change the tone of my voice when I talk to my son, that is light years from a person who can't admit who they are. This is about you.
You're right. This is about me. You want honesty. You're not who you think you are.
So these kids are vulnerable. They're hustling to survive. Some sell deodorizers. A few are in the trade. A lot of them know each other. Which means they tell each other which parking lots to work.
And somebody knows exactly where to find them. It's not completely random. Some kids may know him.
He may not even have to hunt. If they're going to different houses.
There could be more than one him. Maybe you've been too
myopic?
Yeah.
Got anybody in a bridge up there? I just heard a loud splash.
Push out of the bridge.
Wayne Bertram Williams. Do you know why we pulled you over, Mr. Williams?
I guess it must be about all those boys.
Finally a suspect that kind of fits Holden's idea. So this is the next day. I decided to watch the last episode and make a video out of the 2 episodes. So here I am. Unfortunately it's the last episode and I know it's gonna end bad. I mean, there are so many things that won't get finished, so that's really unfortunate. Anyway, as usual, I got something to drink. The episode is ready to start, so without further ado, let's do this.
Nothing. Recruit's positive he heard a splash.
We don't have a body. We can't hold him.
We can hold him for as long as it takes to search his vehicle. Maybe we find something in the car.
Why are you driving it?
It's my uncle's car.
Why do you have it? For work?
Log everything for evidence that I find in this car.
So you were out working this late at night?
But I had to go pick up a check. I'm a photographer.
So who is she?
Miss Cheryl Johnson. She gave me a number, said she's a singer worth hearing.
Come down there. Try this number for me.
By the way, it ends in a 4.
You don't have a girlfriend. Whose are these?
My mother's. They're garbage. I'm supposed to throw all those out.
That what you were doing on the bridge? Throwing out garbage?
I wasn't doing nothing but crossing it.
Do you own a dog, Mr. Williams?
No, I do not.
Note the hair in the back seat and on the floor mats. What's the rope for? With knots at both ends. And the gloves.
Like I said, it's not my car.
Where does she live?
In Smyrna. Church Street.
I mean, if he's the serial killer, of course he has everything ready.
The number with the 4 is disconnected. With the 9, there's no answer.
Wayne, did you know any of the victims? Their families?
Think we all know each other? You didn't ask me if I know this cat.
I'm specifically interested in the victims.
No, I wouldn't know any of them.
You make it sound like it wouldn't be possible.
I'm not like them. You know, street kids. Running wild all hours of the night.
This isn't all hours of the night.
There's a difference in being where you're supposed to be and being where you aren't.
That rope has knots on both its ends next to a pair of gloves.
And we have no evidence any of our victims were strangled with a rope.
But we know they were strangled.
The admin agent was clear. Unless that rope is instrumental in a specific crime, we have to let him go.
Mr. Williams! Thank you. You're free to go.
Only one guy heard the splash.
The other three are probably asleep. Wayne Williams fits every corner of our profile.
What if we heard the same splash, saw the same car, but a white guy had gotten out of it?
But he isn't white.
Everything else being equal, what's the tipping point for matching the profile? 4 criteria? 5? What about the 6th that he didn't fit?
You don't think he's worth pursuing?
I do, but mainly because we just got an answer at that second number. Nobody named Cheryl or Johnson ever lived there.
Because Cheryl Johnson doesn't exist.
Why say it? He knows we'll catch him in a lie.
So let's catch him in it.
Bill, he's ostracized. You've seen it. I see it every day. It's our fault for keeping him here.
We're not moving because of some kids.
This isn't just about other kids. It's the parents. They talk behind his back.
His back or yours?
I'm asking because I believe it's the only way to put this behind us.
Honey, I'm only home for a few days. I just need to get some rest.
Of course.
We finally got through on one of the 2 possible numbers that you gave us. It belonged to a cosmetics company. No Cheryl Johnson ever worked there.
That was the number she gave.
And you're positive that was her name?
But I get folks calling all the time pranking me, so it's possible she may not exist.
You were confident enough to drive to Smyrna at 3 a.m. with no real address to find her.
And I had dinner with my parents and went to Hotlanta Records in College Park to pick up a check I was owed. Then I went to Sansucci to hear some music.
Sansucci?
Lounge. 760 West Peachtree. Then I went looking for the place in Smyrna, and that's when y'all stopped me.
May we keep this?
Sure. They're all over town.
Between 11:21.
What's in it for you?
If they're good, I manage them.
And if they're not, what do you do with them?
I don't do nothing with them.
Where do you find the talent?
All over. Restaurants, arcades.
Mall parking lots, swimming pools.
Never know where it's hiding. Why are you knocking on my door anyway? I mean, it's black kids out there dying. Y'all should be rousting the KKK.
Do you have any of the talent's names? How old are they, usually?
14, 15. He's looking for Michael Jackson.
You said that Wayne was a good kid.
He's polite, pays his bills, he talks himself up, but that's most folks that come in here. One time, he came in here, my assistant said he had cuts all up and down his arms. Right, nasty. When she asked him about it, he said he fell in a bush. Now, I'm sure he got his ass kicked. Wayne ain't no fighter.
When might that have been?
I don't know. A few weeks ago.
Scratches. We from a kid fighting back.
I'm positive the man Ruby Jeter was seen talking to before he disappeared.
Found the body.
At the bridge?
Downstream.
How far?
Pretty close.
We have a meeting tomorrow with the DA to talk surveillance and warrants for Wayne Williams.
He wants to hear from all the agents at the scene.
We have enough for that?
Cheryl Johnson turned out to be alive. That gives us a false exculpatory.
Someone's up.
I lost it.
What?
I dropped the fucking thing.
Hold on. Found it.
Hurry up. They're on the move.
I need more time.
Fuck it. Get out now. Go.
Who the hell is up at this
Did you do it?
We can track him. Just can't listen to him.
What do we see as motive?
I still think it's sexual.
Despite him having no history of violence and there being no evidence of sexual violation.
Yes. BTK's victims were not sexually violated either. There was no penetration, but we know he gets off on it. Maybe Wayne's like that.
What if it's shame?
Shame? What makes you say that?
He strangles his victims from behind, so they can't see him, can't judge him. The parents seem nurturing, but also conservative. What if he hates himself so much, and what he is, that he takes it out on these kids? Maybe specifically kids who he thinks are hustlers.
I think he's a narcissist who considers himself smarter than every other person in the room.
But the food.
Thought y'all might be hungry.
Keeping me awake, fucking burning trash.
You saw Wayne burning garbage.
5 o'clock in the morning.
You sure it was garbage?
I don't know. It was on fire.
When was this?
Thursday morning.
You need fibers from the car, the whole house, especially the green carpet in the living room.
They changed the carpet.
Shit.
It is suspicious. Come on. Just replacing the whole carpet.
It's not much, but it is green.
I'd like to talk about May 21st. Could you talk us through your day up to the Jackson Parkway Bridge?
I already told you twice.
We'd like to hear it again.
I ate dinner. I worked some. Sit.
You told us before you picked up a check at Hotlanta Records.
That's right.
Then you
Then I
said
was
that
looking
you
for
listen
Miss
to
Johnson.
music.
What about the Sansucci Lounge? You told me after Hotlanta you went to the Sansucci.
Yeah, I did.
We checked and no one remembers you. Well, I was, but not for long.
So you just lied to us.
Or you lied before.
I wasn't lying. People forget things.
I'd be real careful not to forget things, Wayne.
What did you do after you left us?
Drove home.
You didn't continue looking for Cheryl Johnson? I thought that was the whole reason for going out.
I guess being questioned by feds spooked me a little.
Did you happen
to do any barbecuing when you got home?
Why would I? We heard you were burning things late that night.
Not me.
Father's owned a lot of cars over the years. Is it true he owned a blue 1978 Plymouth Fury?
You know who else drives 1978 Plymouth Furies? Atlanta PD. So that would make it pretty convincing for a guy who likes to impersonate police officers to lure a kid into his car. Is they also found a police light in your car.
It helps me get access. Sometimes you gotta hustle a little.
But maybe if you wanted to intimidate or gain the confidence of a stranger, putting a bubble light on your car might do that.
No.
We have a witness who saw
Jojo Bell get into a white station wagon on the afternoon of March 2nd. The description of the driver was a match for a man seen talking to Luby Jeter the day he disappeared.
He look familiar to you? That doesn't bother you?
Why would it? I don't know him.
You've never met Nathaniel Cater?
You asking if I killed him? Look at me, I'm 5'7", man. How the hell am I gonna kill a grown man, drag him out of my car, and throw him off of a bridge?
Toxicology reports suggest Cater was intoxicated at the time.
The body showed signs of strangulation, but no vertebral damage. So maybe the killer wasn't particularly strong or couldn't follow through. It's hard to strangle someone.
We're taking fiber samples from your home right now and hair samples from Sheba. Anything you want to tell us?
Y'all think Wayne Williams murdered all those kids? Prove it. Or I think I'll be going home.
And you can't conclusively tie him to a single victim, whether alive or dead. The only thing you've got is a possible fiber match, which no grand jury in Georgia is going to consider more than circumstantial at best. That's not enough to arrest him.
He had no alibi.
I cannot comment on any ongoing investigation we may be conducting. We are doing our best to bring an end to this prolonged tragedy.
Wayne, get over here. Let's go.
We're very certain it was a black male. Early 20s to early 30s, drives a certain type of car.
That's it? That's what every cop in Atlanta looks for every crime, a young black man.
It's a little more complicated than
Did you investigate the man who called saying where to find the body?
Tanya, those calls were made by sad people looking
There
for
was
a
more than one? If you're so sure he fits, how come you haven't arrested him? Because this is going to ruin his life.
There are procedures. I'm not saying unequivocally he did all 29, but I know he did some
What
of them.
if you're wrong?
I'm not.
Because he's black?
I
There were
have the
reporters everywhere. Where
feeling
they
that
got the
he
plumbers in.
actually gave
But
the
they didn't
name.
call him the Atlanta Monster. Somebody leaked it. For a reason.
It'll definitely make him
press.
sweat.
Y'all ready? Here's a copy of my resume. Everybody take one. The rules are nobody shows my face. Y'all agree to that? Come on in.
A Renaissance man knows how to get in front of a story.
What do you want, Mr. Williams?
To be left alone. And an apology from those FBI agents who spent last night threatening me and accusing me.
I think he's referring to you.
Or you.
What suspected murderer risks holding a press conference with no lawyer and no preparation?
Someone who's certain he'll never be caught.
Or someone who's really pissed at being wrongly accused?
Big city, See, Wayne ain't like you always see him. He's a Gemini.
His horoscope?
Yeah, you know, like the twins. Except with Wayne, you never know which one you're gonna get.
And one is worse than the other?
Oh, yeah. He can get angry sometimes. He doesn't look like it, but he can.
What does Wayne get angry about?
A while back, some folks came around looking for donations, you know, to help find those missing kids. But Wayne told me don't waste the money. He said those dead kids were nothing but a bunch of prostitutes hanging around the streets all night long.
He called the victims prostitutes?
He acted like it was a good thing.
We've made progress in our own investigations into many of the crimes that we believe are linked.
With regards to arrests, the sum total during the investigation so far has been 0. And the press is consistently told there are no suspects. Can you be specific on the progress you've made?
I believe it's significant.
What's he doing?
I'm quietly confident that an arrest is imminent.
Putting us on a deadline.
Is she too angry? What's going on? I hope nothing happened to her.
Maynard Jackson! Mayor! Come look at the mess you made!
Funny way to demand less attention.
You put out a bounty but don't care if you frame an innocent man? Come look at what I have to live with! Where are you going, Mayor? To call the police? They already here!
The man who just left here. What do you want?
He was inquiring about charters to South America.
Did he purchase anything? A ticket?
No, but he did say he might be seeing me again soon.
For his son?
It's a diversion.
A diversion?
For?
After he pulled out, Homer left the house. I followed him to the airport. He made inquiries with a private charter about flights to South America.
You gotta call Slayton.
Did I miss something?
Looks like we all did.
The DA told us we had insubstantial evidence. It's his drumbeat.
It seems he was persuaded to change his mind. Fibers from the search came back a perfect match. Justice was able to convince him that he could get a conviction with that. Slayton agreed to charge him with 2 of the murders as long as his officers made the arrest. The one near the bridge, Carter.
Cater.
And number 27, Payne, I think.
Both adults? They aren't getting him for any of the children.
Look, he could be good for anywhere from 2 to 10 of them. They'll charge him with as many as they think will get convictions.
I asked the recruit to go through 3 years of pedophile complaints, convictions, look for any red flags. Found this guy, 63 years old, black. We got complaints of young boys being given drugs and spending the night.
This fucking smells.
There's no connection between him and the house in Lakewood.
The old white guy.
This recruit was on the detail that boxed up the Polaroids from Lakewood. He swears there were pictures of black children among them.
Would your recruit go on record with the district attorney?
He doesn't want his name to be used. He's just giving us something to run down.
We know 2 of our victims visited the Lakewood house, and we have an unverified account of kids going to a stadium house.
You've got the manpower now. Start with those 2 houses. Question the neighbors, press the offenders. Something will shake loose.
More charges will be brought.
Is it because you weren't really sure it's him?
Mrs. Bell, I'm not saying Williams perpetrated all 29 murders. But right now, we have enough to tie him to 2. I'm confident, given time, we'll be able to charge him with a significant number of them. We still have agents from all over working every case diligently.
You do now. But what about tomorrow, when everybody decides they found their scapegoat and that is good enough?
We are not leaving. And Williams will spend the rest of his life in...
Not for Yusuf's death.
Close the highest profile case in the country. Downgrading Atlanta to pending inactive status. Director wants to show his appreciation.
Wait, inactive?
They'll keep a few agents here. Trials reports, cataloging evidence.
What about the kids?
It's up to the DA which cases get tied to Williams. The thing is, from now on, we'll be first in. Atlanta's changed everything.
She's gone. She moved. Damn.
I would say to them that their children's cases will be handed to local police departments. I would also say that while we may not have all the required evidence to convict, we do have enough to close.
So that was the last episode of Mindhunter. That was Mindhunter. Fortunately, it ended how it did, but I'm glad at least the man. It's not even. I don't know if like I'm glad that they showed the person they convicted of those murders. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's extremely horrible that those murders happened, but also that he was convicted by um, just for two murders and with no connection with the kids. And not only that, but apparently the cases of the kids weren't reopened even till today, I guess. I mean, 2019, I don't think, they reopened the cases. So they were just left like that, another case closed. It wasn't like, I don't know, at least it didn't seem like a certain thing. It might have been, in a way, it seemed. There were a lot of things that matched. Not necessarily that he was African American, but the fibers, the dark hair, the thing with the rope, and he could have easily attracted, kids, and kids would have talked with him because he was kind of a talent scout in a way. I found it a bit weird and sometimes maybe annoying, the the thing with Holden, that he made in his mind he already knew who the killer is. In a way, he didn't have a name, and he was fixated on this thing. And I don't know, maybe in a way, I'm not saying that Williams might have not been the killer, but in a way, it felt like Holden found the person that fitted his pattern. But again, some things were a bit weird. Also, the carpet, so sudden change. Well, it was an interesting series overall. Not quite a documentary, not quite a series. It seemed more real and not so dramatic like the movies or TV shows about serial killers. I'm not talking about documentaries, but like the what is called, some years ago, maybe the last year, 2 years ago, came out that movie about Ted Bundy with Zac Efron, and last year I think came out the series about Jeffrey Dahmer, which it seemed more dramatized in a way. This seemed a bit more, I don't know, in a way respectful to the victims and the families. It's a shame that they didn't finish that thing with BTK, but it was also kind of impossible for them to finish. If I remember correctly, he killed like 10 people, something around that number. I think it was more, not less. Between the 70s and the 90s. So this big period of time couldn't be captured, And then he stopped for, I don't know, 10 years or something. And then he reappeared with letters and things like that in 2000, early 2000. And then, a few years later was captured and now he's in jail. The actors that played the serial killers were really good. They definitely chose guessing the best for each of them. Kemper and Charles Manson and Son of Sam, really good. Them. They really put a lot of effort into it. If I remember correctly, it was kind of made after a book that came out some time ago, which now I am pretty curious to read it. Honestly, I hope I find it, and I really want to read it. Man, that was that. I'm gonna stop here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you next time. Bye.